Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the committee and Madam Chair. Amendment number 2 to House Bill 5348 would, first of all, delete the provisions of the original bill that I brought before you last week that phased out the sale of mercury-containing items. The bill, as amended, would focus only on the collection and recycling of mercury-containing thermostats that are taken out of service. Illinois EPA estimates that 88,000 to 132,000 mercury thermostats are taken out of service each year in Illinois. And the 3 major thermostat manufacturers have established a program to recycle mercury thermostats, but the collection rate is very low. We see that there's a less than 10% participation in this recycling effort every year. The vast majority of mercury thermostats taken out of service are disposed of in the regular trash. You know, they're small. You can easily stick it into your garbage and nobody sees it. And that's not like, you know, a television or computer monitor or something that you can't get away with that. But once in the trash, the glass vial and the thermostat, which holds about 3 grams of mercury, can break en route to the transfer station or the landfill, allowing the mercury to escape. And when this escapes, of course, it escapes into the environment. And we need to do more to facilitate the collection and recycling of mercury-containing thermostats in Illinois. The amended bill would require all thermostat manufacturers, either collectively or individually, to establish a collection program for out-of-service mercury thermostats, working with the existing network of electrical equipment suppliers and the HVAC contractors. The bill is patterned after the mercury switch removal that we know became legislation for scrap vehicles, and that was enacted 2 years ago. The thermostat manufacturers would be required to develop a collection plan that would be reviewed by Illinois EPA. The plan must include provisions for education and outreach, incentives for collection, and evaluation of results. This bill would establish collection goals to help focus recycling efforts and ensure that a significant number of mercury thermostats are collected over time. The bill would also require HVAC wholesalers and contractors to participate in the collection program offered by the thermostat manufacturers. And then finally, the bill requires IEPA to convene a stakeholder group to identify measures to collect mercury thermostats from do-it-yourselfers who replace thermostats in their homes. So selling mercury-containing thermostats will become illegal in Illinois in July of this year under legislation that we passed already last year. However, the 35-year lifespan of the old temperature control units means that there are still a lot of them out there, and they'll continue to be out there for a while. So we need to do more in Illinois to make sure that these thermostats are kept out of the garbage, kept out of the landfills, and polluting our environment.
Okay, thank you. I will read the witness slips into the record. John Gaudet from the Illinois Environmental Council is a proponent, oral testimony. Jonathan Goldman, Illinois Environmental Council, is a proponent, record of appearance only. Rob Carr of the Illinois Retail Merchants Association is an opponent, oral testimony if necessary, and Christine Sisk of the Illinois Manufacturers Association is an opponent, record of appearance only, and there is a videotape, but they are not taping members of the committee. First, John Gaudet.
Yeah, I just want to make a couple quick points. The program that exists this is the second biggest source of mercury left unregulated in Illinois. Over the last 3 years, we've taken care of a bunch of the significant ones. This is the big one we have to take care of now. So we're asking the retailers, the technicians, and the wholesalers, the manufacturers, each to take a role in making this happen, simply because the existing program is not good enough. Most of the burden falls on the manufacturer. They'll supply the bins. They'll pay to ship those bins from the wholesaler to the recycling center. The retailers will have to take up a very, very small price on this by putting up. All they have to simply do is put up a sign around those thermostats saying that these should be recycled, right? And then the wholesalers have to have that bin and there's a price that they can be charged by the manufacturer, which is about $25 out east right now in the places this is happening. So manufacturers paying for what they've created, retailers, wholesalers, and technicians helping to make this happen. We think that'll push the rates up enough where we can get this very dangerous toxin out of the system. So we set a system of goals. So by 2012, we're looking at 15%, which is not a really high goal. This comes out of last year when we've begun to talk to industry and other folks in other states who are doing this. We established our goals of 15% by 2012, 30% by 2013, 50% by 2015, and 80% by 2017. I'll stop there.
Before we take questions, is Rob Carr here? Did you wish to testify?
Madam Chair, Rob Carr with Illinois Retail Merchants. Just very briefly, so the committee understands the nature of our opposition. We appreciate where the sponsor and the proponents have gone in terms of where it started. It's a visceral reaction for retail to have to post yet another sign in their stores and stores that are filled with signs. And increasingly, we're seeing a product-by-product education campaign that's pushed on retail. If this is universal profit, it requires a universal response, and that's the nature of our opposition. Just having to put another sign up in a store, and frankly, we think that gets lost given all the signs that are up in stores today. So I'm happy to answer questions if there are any, but that's the nature of the opposition.
Yes, well, you know what, while you've got the microphone, could you put a sticky on the product or something? Or is that?
You certainly could, but that would be far more expensive and far more expensive.
Oh, okay, so they always have better ideas in mind. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Representative Harrell.
Thank you, Representative. I just want to be sure I understand what the amendment number 2 does. So things like the little button cell batteries we talked about last time no longer are included, and those like high octane, whatever you call them, fluorescent lights are not included? Okay, thank you.
Representative Briley.
I have a question for the gentleman that just spoke. I guess he's from the...
Rob Carr, or from Rob, yes.
Irma?
Retail Merchants, yes.
I just have a question. I'm just sort of confused. In a business that essentially is based on signage and changing of planograms and end caps and all of that type of stuff, what's the problem with maybe one more sign?
Well, I think you just hit it on the head. In a business that has all that signage, and I think what he's understood too is we generate sales. Sales don't just happen. So the sales tax that accrues to the state of Illinois are generated by retail. And the fact that you want us to do that to generate sales tax, so that's a big part of signage and advertising. The second part becomes, and what you just spoke to, you have store plans and product that moved and changed all the time, and it becomes a compliance scenario to try to keep that sign moving with that product. With respect, I think what you pointed out explains part of our opposition to that.
Well, with respect, I think part of what you would say, advertising and marketing does have to do with providing information to the consumer, doesn't it?
Yes, to generate sales tax for the state of Illinois, I would agree. But I think there reaches a point where, given the number of products we sell, in any given store, whether it's a 10,000 square foot store or a 110,000 square foot store, if we're going to have retail having to provide education for all of those products,
no, just this.
Well, this one today.
Just this class.
This one today. We've also seen proposals for water bottle beverages. We've seen proposals for.
We're only dealing with this one today, and I would simply say, because I respect your opposition, but it just does not seem like that particular question of adding one more sign to educate the consumer would be that egregious.
And Representative, I think we'll just agree to respectfully disagree with each other's viewpoints.
That's fine too, and we'll see that when the votes take.